All right, so in this video, I want to share with you 3 secrets that I've discovered from making millions of dollars selling on virtual and live stages that you can replicate yourself next time you want to sell anything from a webinar or a live stage or whatever. Let's get into that. Hi, my name's Colin Boyd. I help experts, coaches, and speakers to sell effectively from virtual and live stages. I've coached thousands of people around the world and advised the biggest names in the industry and done millions of dollars from stages. But at the core of this is about helping you access your full potential. That's what I want to talk about now. Okay, so for me, everything started when I was a professional speaker at the time. I was about probably 6 years into running my speaking business. And I was looking at my calendar, and because speaking was my main income, in other words, being paid to speak, like speaking for a fee, was my main income, I looked at my calendar and I had a few gigs, like 1 or 2 gigs on that month, but it wasn't enough to actually hit the goals that I was wanting to go to. And so what happened was I got a phone call from acquaintance that I had, a previous client, and they asked me to come and speak at an event. Now I was a little bit desperate. So I actually lowered my fee, which is not what I recommend. But at the time I was like, I need to get a speaking gig, right? So I lowered my fee because they couldn't afford my fee at the time. And I got prepared for the event. Now coming into this event, this is where everything changed. I remember realizing that I was speaking on a topic that aligned with a digital course that I just built. I just built this digital online course. And the topic aligned. So I went to the event organizer and I said, hey, would you mind if I share with people the next steps around my digital course at the end of the keynote? And he actually was really fine about it. He was like, no, this sounds great. I think the audience would really benefit from it. And so what happened was that day I went up, I did my 30-minute presentation. And at the end, he actually came up and did a short interview. And then we mentioned the next step with my online course. We had it in the workbook and all that sort of stuff. And I got off the stage and I sat down and all of a sudden I heard a ding on my phone. And I picked it up and it was a Stripe notification. Someone had just bought my course. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then I saw another ding and then another ding and then a ding, 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 ding. And then all of a sudden, like I literally started scrolling through all the people that were buying my online course. And what happened was I ended up doing $92,000 of online course sales from a 30-minute presentation. This blew my mind because essentially I just made in online course sales close to 20 times the keynote fee that I'd charged them at a discount at the time. This completely opened up a whole new world. And so I want to share with you 3 secrets, 3 things that I did in that presentation that helped me to do that and how I've been able to generate that for so many other people around the world as well. So the first secret from selling from any live or virtual stage is to understand your audience. Now I know that might seem like, like a general piece, like understand your audience. But I want you to get this. Your audience matters even more than your offer and your presentation. What I mean by that is that you can have the best offer, you can have the best content in your presentation. But if you have the wrong audience or if you don't know how to communicate what you do for the audience, your entire sales and your offer are going to fall flat. I know for me, I've done presentations where, like I mentioned, we've done hundreds of thousands of dollars in just 1 hour of a presentation on stage. I've taken that exact same talk and done it in a room that was completely the wrong audience, and the offer's fallen flat. We've done like 1 or 2 sales. And so the problem wasn't the presentation itself, although you do need a really good offer. You really need an irresistible presentation and content. The problem can sometimes actually be the audience. Now, the secret is knowing how to whisper the right words to the audience. So some of you are like shouting what you're doing. You're like out there shouting and telling how amazing your stuff is. But all the audience needs is a whisper of the right words. They need to hear exactly what is going on in their mind at that moment so that they can connect with you, resonate with you, and eventually work with you. You do that in a presentation when you're selling from stage, and it will be effortless. There will be an ease about the presentation and an ease into the offer. So first of all, take some real good time to understand your audience. The second secret to selling effectively from stage is to build your content for your offer, not the other way around. So the mistake that most content creators and coaches do is that whenever they are getting ready for a webinar or a presentation and they want to make a sale, right, of their online course, is they go into their course and they ask themselves, what course content do I have that if I was to present it, the audience would go, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And I got this for free. Imagine what I'm going to get when I pay them. Now, the problem with that is usually the content you're presenting overwhelms the audience, and it's sometimes even too advanced for what they're ready for. Have you noticed that? Like you've presented content and you've got really nice comments, like the audience are going, oh my gosh, it's amazing. You get claps, but no clients. That's because you've gone into your course, you've got content from your course and presented it on your webinar. That is not what you're supposed to do. When you're selling from a stage, you have to take your offer, and your offer becomes the beacon. It becomes the lighthouse that you're looking to when you're creating your content. And you want to think about these questions of, what are the beliefs that the audience need to have about themselves and about you as a presenter in order to say yes to your offer at the end? So first of all, that's one question I asked. What are the beliefs? What's the evidence that the audience needs to have about you, your credibility, the process that you help people with in order to say yes to your offer? These are the questions I'm asking. I'm thinking, what's the feelings that the audience needs to experience in your content? In other words, what is the emotional state that they need to experience in order to have the courage to say yes to themselves to join your offer? It's these types of frames that I'm thinking about when I'm creating content. I'm not just going into my course, pulling random ideas out that I think are awesome and hoping that that's going to lead to a sale, because it won't. It's going to fall flat. You might get some nice comments, but you won't get clients. And so when you're designing a presentation to sell, you have to think about the emotions, the evidence, the beliefs that your audience need to have, and they need to be infused into the content so that it leads to your offer correctly. It's what we call infusion selling. And infusion selling is the idea of you're presenting content, and you're actually selling all at the same time. It like infuses together. So the second big point is you have to design your content for your offer, not the other way around. Now, the third secret to selling effectively from a webinar or a virtual live stage is to sell with stories. A lot of the times when I get the chance to work with major influencers, big influencers, people like Amy Porterfield, Kerry Green, Julie Solomon, like these people have big platforms, big audiences. One of the main areas that I work with them on a lot of the time is their storytelling. And the reason why that is because stories, first of all, they resonate with the audience. They create trust, they create credibility, but they also bring the audience on a journey towards your offer without feeling like pushed, without feeling icky and sleazy, right? And so those people who do this well realize that when you tell the right type of story, and the specific story I'm talking about is what I call a conversion story. A conversion story is a story where you actually align the most important ideas of your presentation that actually lead to your offer with your stories. It's called a conversion story. And so when you get the right stories in your presentation, your audience will start to move towards your offer effortlessly and easily. That is the secret to selling effectively from a virtual or a live stage. So we've covered three big ideas. The first one was around deeply connecting with your audience. You've got to understand your audience. You've got to deeply connect with them. The second one is you have to build content for your offer. Don't create an offer based on your content. You've got to build content to suit your offer. And the third thing was I recommend selling with your stories. Don't try to do a pushy sell. You've got to think about what are the stories I need to share to lead towards my offer. Now, first of all, I want to know what's been most valuable. Put a comment down below. What has been most valuable from learning about selling from stages from this content? Put a comment down below. What's been most valuable? Secondly, if you've found this helpful and you resonate with me, make sure you're subscribed and you click the notifications are on so that you get a notification whenever we load up cool content like this. And finally, if you're really serious about learning how to create stories that sell your programs, you should go and check out our conversion story formula. There's a link down below, or you can just go to conversion story formula and you can check that out. It will help you to go really deep in terms of your stories that actually lead to sales.